So if you haven't heard, the IRS is sending out $1,400 stimulus checks to about 1 million people. And you may be wondering why now, who qualifies for it, and what's the big picture here. And if you've ever been confused about how tax credit works and want to be able to learn how to be able to get your stimulus money, then make sure you go ahead and watch this whole video, because I'm going to be breaking down exactly what you need to know in order to be able to get that stimulus check. All right, so let's start with the basics here. So these $1,400 stimulus checks are part of the 2021 recovery rebate credit. So this credit was introduced as part of the third round of economic impact payments, commonly known as stimulus checks, during the pandemic. And while most people got these payments automatically in 2021, there's been about 1 million taxpayers that either did not receive it or didn't claim it on their tax return. So if you're eligible but didn't claim the credit, the IRS has got your back on this one. So they've actually been able to identify taxpayers and are now sending out the payments automatically. So the great news is there's no specific action required for you on your part. If you qualify, you're going to be able to get that money. Either it's going to be a direct deposit or it's going to come as a check in the mail. Okay, so now you're probably wondering, am I eligible for it? So here's a quick breakdown explaining who exactly qualifies for these checks. So if you did not receive the $1,400 stimulus check back in 2021 and you didn't claim the recovery rebate credit on your 21 tax return, your income meets that eligibility threshold, then you're going to be able to qualify and be able to receive this money. So for example, let's say that you're single and you made $50,000 in 2021, but for some reason you completely missed out on the payment, or maybe you didn't file your taxes and you're confused about the process to be able to qualify for it. If the IRS has your information now, you're going to get that payment automatically, like I said, either as a direct deposit or either as a check in the mail. So the next thing you may be asking yourself is, why are these payments happening nearly 4 years after they were first introduced? And that's a great question. So here's the deal. The IRS has been playing catch up for nearly 4 years because during the height of the pandemic, the agency was overwhelmed with processing tax returns. They're trying to issue out refunds. They're rolling out multiple rounds of stimulus payments. So the reality of it is some taxpayers actually slipped through the cracks, and now they're trying to go back and make up for those people who did not receive the payments. So it wasn't until recently that the IRS actually completed their review of all the unclaimed credits, and now that they've been able to identify the eligible taxpayers, they're now fulfilling on their obligations for this. So you might be wondering, how does the IRS even know if you qualify? And that's another great question. So they actually rely on the information that you provide in your tax returns. So if you didn't fill out your tax return in 2021, but you had income below the filing threshold, you could still be eligible for this. And the great news is, in many cases, they actually happen to use third-party information like your W-2 or 1099s to be able to match your records and determine whether or not you're eligible for this. So let's say, for example, the IRS looks at your Social Security records, right? They could be able to look at that and determine whether you're able to qualify for this payment. So here's the best part about it. You don't need to do anything if you qualify. The IRS is going to automatically send your payment. However, if you think you're eligible but haven't received your check by the end of January, you can actually reach out to the IRS or check your account status on their website. And you want to do this by going to www.irs.gov to be able to check your recovery rebate credit status. So to take it a step back and really understand how the recovery rebate works, think of it as a refundable tax credit. So unlike deductions, which reduce your taxable income, refundable credits actually give you some money back. So even if you owe no money on taxes, for example, let's say you owe $0 on taxes and you qualify for this $1,400 credit, you actually get a full refund of $1,400, which is amazing. So that's why it's so important to file your taxes each and every single year, even if you don't think you need to, because you might miss out on money that you're entitled to. And look, I get it. Taxes can be confusing. These 1,400 payments are a reminder that the IRS is actually actively working to make sure that people who deserve to get that money are actually receiving the money. So if you think you qualify, do not stress out. The money is on its way. And if you found this video valuable, make sure you go ahead and watch this video over here to be able to learn more about how to save money on taxes and be able to get a bigger refund this year.